But can I be honest with you? I love the simple life of knowing that I only have the things in my life that I need. I do have some wants, but I don't have what everybody else is telling me I should have to make myself feel complete. And that's what keeps the complication down. That's what keeps the simplicity in. That's what keeps the stress levels out. That's what keeps the peace in. That's what keeps the depression out. Welcome, family, to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that it will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about on the Bacon Bits Podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. And I need to hear y'all say it. Say valuable information applied equals success. Man, y'all better bring it on up in here, because what we're going to be talking about on this wonderful episode today is smooth as silk. Don't complicate it. Why did we come up with that title? Because John Bacon, I hate making things complicated. I hate things in my life when they become complicated, and I hate things that are just complicated. I like having a smooth life. I like having a life of no stress, no anxiety, no depression. I love that stuff. I do. I get a major kick out of that. And the way I can keep my life like that, notice I ain't say just get it, but keep it, is I have to simplify everything around me. I do not like making things around me hard, complicated, and stressful. So how do we do that? How do we take our lives and simplify them? I'm glad you asked. I heard you thinking out loud. One of the things we're going to do is you need to look at your problems from a different perspective. Looking at your problems from a different perspective. Now notice that you are you. There's nothing we can do about that. You are you. There are certain ways that you see things because of your makeup, your thinking pattern, your nature, your way you was raised, the way you see life. We are who we are. We are us. And that's a beautiful thing. But sometimes what we need to do is we need to look at our lives and our problems from a different perspective. So one of the things that I'm blessed to teach is this core principle called self as context. So self as context is being able to look at yourself objectively without getting caught up in the many thoughts that come across your mind. So, usually when we watch a TV program or we watch a music video or we watch a movie, they usually are within the first 10 minutes of a movie, they setting up the whole scene of how the movie is going to go. And then within the first 10 minutes of that movie, TV show, there's going to be this plot. And what ends up happening is what we're going to do after the first 10 minutes of the movie is we're going to take about an hour and 30 minutes to try to figure out what's going to happen in this movie. And we already know it's going to be something good. It's going to happen at the end of the movie. That's just almost a given. But what we do is we can sometimes see the signs of what's going to happen before it happens. And that's what we need to do sometimes in our own lives, to be able to say, if I can look at this movie and tell you what's going to happen before it happens, if I can talk to a friend of mine and give them some advice on what's going to happen, of what they need to do to change their life, why can't I do that with my own personal life? Why can't I look and say, now, John, if you go down this road of eating all this fried food, what's going to happen? Yeah, health going to be toe up. See how that worked out? Man, if I don't go to work every day and, on the days that I'm supposed to work and going to work and do a good job, I'm going to end up getting fired. See, sometimes when we just look at our situation, our circumstances, and be like, okay, if I can just look at my life from a different perspective, Because sometimes we're stuck on, man, like for me, I'm going to use me. So before COVID, I used to only think that working out was lifting weights. That was huge for me. I used to always do like 5 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of cardio, and then I'm going to go ahead and lift weights for the next hour and 15 minutes. And then when COVID hit, it threw me for a loop. And so I had to look at my problem of, okay, how am I still going to work out and get the results that I want to get? And that's where I had to have a different perspective on what being healthy was all about. So I had to change up my workout routine. I was changing more stretching versus lifting weights. I started eating better. And see, notice all this stuff was changing because I looked at it from a different perspective, because I had to, because there was no options of going to the gym, because during COVID, the gyms were locked up. And so that's why I had to say to myself, okay, I want this to still happen, but I got to look at it from a different perspective. I do not want to start getting out of shape. I don't want to start getting my muscles tight. I don't want to start gaining that extra weight, because it's easy to put it on, but man, as you get older, it's hard to get it off. So that's where you have to tell yourself, okay, what can I do differently? Because what I'm doing is not working. So now I got to look at it from a different perspective. And a great way to do that is, guess what? Talk to some friends. Ask for their opinion on what can you do better in this area. And notice I said friends. I ain't just say anybody. I said I want it to be friends, because friends really give a care about you. And because they love you and you asking for constructive criticism, they will give you their honest opinion, and it won't hurt your feelings. And it might even hurt your feelings. But guess what? Because they love you, they're going to give it their best shot on how it is to help you have a different perspective on the situation that you're in. So a great way to not complicate your life is to look at it from a different perspective. Because when we look at it only just one way, we get stuck. And then when we get stuck, we get frustrated, and then we make some bad decisions when all that happens. So we want to, guess what, look at our problems from a different perspective. Super important. Number 2, we got to set our values and have a vision for what we want out of life. A great way of how people complicate their lives is they try to become the version of themselves that somebody else wants them to be, of what they want them to do. Think about that. Am I becoming the kind of man that my mom wants me to be? Am I becoming the kind of man that my wife wants me to be? Am I becoming the kind of man that society is telling me I should be? Fam, if I don't set my own values and have a vision of what I want out of life, it's easy to get caught up in what other people want out of your life. It's super easy. And before you know it, you became a version of yourself that you do not like whatsoever. And you have to look back on, how did I become like this? It's because more than likely I didn't have my values down pat, and I didn't have my vision of what I wanted my life to look like. Because if I'm not careful, I'm always want the latest car, a bigger house, make more money at my job. I want bigger and better constantly. But can I be honest with you? I love the simple life of knowing that I only have the things in my life that I need. I do have some wants, but I don't have what everybody else is telling me I should have to make myself feel complete. And that's what keeps the complication down. That's what keeps the simplicity in. That's what keeps the stress levels out. That's what keeps the peace in. That's what keeps the depression out. That's what keeps the joy in. It's because I have set my own values, and I know what I want my life to look like. And that's what's going to make me happy, not what other people want for me to be like what they want me to be. We got to really watch ourselves on that. That is so important. Another way of how to not complicate our lives is, my job is to love on people and not always care about their opinion of me. This is where my relationship with God comes into play, because my daddy, I always call God Daddy, because the first 2 words of the model prayer is our Father. My daddy said, I am to love him with all my heart, mind, body, soul. And he told me to love others as I love myself. And if anybody knows me, they can tell you, I kind of like me a lot. I don't have no problem telling you, I love me some John Bacon. And what I got to do is Since Daddy told me to love others as I love myself, I got to treat people with the utmost respect. I got to love them, tell them the truth, not lie to them, and want the best for them. But in return, sometimes people are going to tell you their opinion of you, their opinion of what you do, their opinion of your marriage, their opinion of your raising your kids, their opinion of you taking care of your body, their opinion of you making money. Family, I'm still supposed to love them. But I'm going to tell you, a majority of people's opinions, I don't give a... Yeah, we didn't have to beep that out. Yeah. I don't care. Why is that? Because when it's all said and done, I'm going to stand before the throne of God. And I got to give my account of the kind of life that I live. And I can't say, well, because my wife wanted me to be like this, that's why I was doing the things I was doing. Because my mom wanted me to be like that, that's why I was doing the things I was doing. Family... My job was to do what I told you. Love on people and don't always care about their opinions of me. You and God is all that matters. That's all that matters. Are you happy with being you? Not somebody's expectations of you, not somebody's goals, not somebody's dreams of what they want you to be. Are you happy with? That's a great way to keep the complications out of your life. That's a great way for your life to be smooth as silk. That's the way to do it. So you want to not care about people's opinions as much as you want to continue to love on them. What is the next step that I need to take? To focus on the present moment with the end in mind. Family. Sometimes when we're trying to make these big grandiose goals and have these grandiose visions, and they are beautiful, but there's going to be some times in the mix that it's going to be feeling real overwhelming. It's going to get real complicated. And what you got to do is tell yourself, what's the next right step? I ain't got to figure out the whole grand scheme of things. Yes, I do have a vision for my life. I do have plans. Don't get me wrong. I love having goals. But sometimes it can get so overwhelming that you really have to slow down and ask yourself the question, what is the next right step? What we got to do is saying, you know what, in this present moment that I'm in right now, and I have a goal in mind, in this present moment, what's the next step that I have to take? The thing that I love about our wonderful bodies is wherever our bodies is the present moment. But these brains we live in, oh my God, them jokers is all over everywhere. They dwelling in the past of all them bad mistakes that we made. And sometimes they dwell on all the good stuff, but it's not doing us any good now. Then we having all this anxiety about our future, what's going on and what's going to happen and fear of the unknown and all that stuff. And we ain't even there yet. And this is where I love when scripture says, this one thing I do, forgetting those things that are behind. See, God told me, you did the best you could with what information you had, more than likely. Let that go. And then he told me, don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to have enough problems of its own. This is why I love scripture so much. God just told me, son, I just need you to be in this moment right here, right now, focusing on what's the next step I want you to take. That's all I got to do, family. That's why life doesn't get complicated. All I got to do is think about what's the next step. The cool part about when you make great decisions in your present moment, the end is going to work itself out. If I plant apple seeds, in the end, I'm going to get an apple tree. If I plant orange seeds, in the end, I'm going to get an orange tree. You see how predictable that is? If I make great decisions of taking care of my health, 56 years old, no aches and no pains. That 18-year-old dude makes some great decisions to get me to where I'm at today. That's the cool part about life that a lot of people don't think about. For the most part, life can be very predictable. I like it a lot when life is predictable. I know if I keep telling my wife I love her and I show her that I adore her and she's the apple of my eye, she's my queen, my marriage will be great. See, you notice if I just do this next right thing, stop trying to overthink it, stop trying to figure it out. If I do the next right thing, man, it's going to work itself out. But I got to also be in this moment Remember, I told you your body is always in the present moment, but it's trying to get that brain regulated to let me bring it back to what's happening and what's going on right now as we are in this place. Wherever you're at, in your car, in your house, in the bathroom, you're at work, getting a little 15-minute bacon bit in, family. Always know what's the next right thing that I need to do, because I do not want to complicate my life. I do not want to stress myself out. Just let me make the next right move. And one of the last things I want you to think about, I said one of, it ain't the last, but it's one of the last, is don't waste time trying to change people. Why is that? Because you can't. You have absolutely no control over other people. And a great way to not complicate your life, a great way to be operating smooth as silk, is to know I can't change other people's opinions and I can't change other people's lives. I can give them some great advice. I can demonstrate to them with my life how awesome this decision would be if you made this, took this information, took this advice and applied it. But I can't make nobody change, because they have their own life. They have their own road that they have to go to. They have their own will. They have their own power of why they do what they do, and they will do what they want to do. But what I need to do is say, you know what? I'm not going to waste no more time. I'm not going to complicate my life trying to figure out how to change this person when it ain't my job to do that. That's God's job. That is God's job. So do me a favor, family. Stop trying to be perfect. Why is that? Because you ain't. I'm going to sit here for a minute, let that sink in. I know you're looking at your radio craze, and I know you want to jump through the radio and whoop my tail because I just told you that. But it's a fact. You ain't never going to be perfect. And situations in your life ain't going to turn out perfect. So if I can just get that in my spirit, life ain't going to be perfect. I ain't perfect. That takes the pressure off. That takes the pressure off. You think about this. Man, I always love using these illustrations. Man, you done planned your wedding to the T. He got his tuxedo. You got your dress. You done picked out the venue. You done picked out the food that you want at the venue. If you want to have some alcoholic beverages there at the venue, man, you done checked out what flower arrangements you want, who you want to have give you away. You done picked out the pastor, preacher, whoever you're going to have giving the wedding vows and all that. You done wrote your vows out. Beautiful. Oh, that's wonderful. And then all of a sudden, the storm comes in. And all that perfect wedding planning that you did is gone. That don't mean the marriage ain't gonna be sweet. It just means the wedding didn't go as planned. And so what you do is you prepare yourself for, in case this happens, then we're gonna do. But we're gonna stop trying to be perfect, because it won't be. It will never be. Our job is to say, with the resources I have, with the skills I have, with the love I have, with the people I have, I'm going to do this or do that. And however it's going to turn out, that's how God made it turn out. So stop trying to fight that perfection thing. And the last thing I want you to do to stop complicating your life, this is definitely the last one, is ask questions. If you don't know something and you need to know something, I highly suggest that you ask questions. Fam, I don't know why we choose to complicate life. We can ask questions. We can go on, once again, pull up Google, and what you're going to do? Ask a question. When you see people doing what it is that you love to do, ask them some questions. When you see people have things that you want to have, ask questions. When you see this marriage going beautifully and they just look so happy together and that's what you want, ask questions. You know you want to change job and career, and you want to do something that you really love, that you know you're gifted to do, and you see somebody doing it and they make it look so good when they doing it. Ask questions. Why you going to complicate your life when the wheel was already created? Somebody's already doing what you love to do, and you see them doing it beautifully. They flowing in it. They make it look effortlessly. Effortlessly. Don't fix that shit. Just leave it on in there, girl. They are moving effortlessly through their wonderful career. And guess what happens? They bump their head quite a few times. And if you ask them the questions on how they got to where they at, you don't have to bump your head like they did. You get to simplify it by saying, hey, if you already done it and I want to do it, I'm going to ask you for the recipe so that I can have some, some hacks. I'm going to take some shortcuts and I'll be able to get there faster and a little bit more easier. It ain't going to be perfect. Once again, we talked about that just a few minutes ago. It ain't going to be perfect. But at least I'll be there faster. I would have not had to bump my head as many times because I asked questions to get this thing that I say I want. So family, do me a favor, please. Don't complicate your life. Do everything you can to simplify it. We have more anxiety than we've ever had in the history of humanity. We have more depression than we've ever had in the history of humanity. And it's all because we keep complicating our lives. We keep stressing about stuff we don't need to be stressing about. We need to stop complaining, and we need to say, you know what, with the information, resources, and the people I have around me, I'm going to make the best decision possible and let the chips fall where they may. Because I don't want to be stressed out no more. I want to live my best life and enjoy every moment that I'm currently in. Instead of always looking forward to the future, I want to enjoy these moments on a journey as I get to my destination that I'm trying to get to. Family, I love you. Please do me a favor. Live your best life. This is your boy John Bacon with another segment of Bacon Bits. Love you guys. God bless. All right, what's up, family? It's your boy John Bacon from the Bacon Bits podcast. Thank you so much for your support, likes, and ratings. Please don't just listen, but rate me, follow me, and subscribe. This is an amazing way to offer free support. My beautiful queen and I have some books that we have written for your growth.
So the first book we have is a workbook, actually. It's called Healthy Relationships, and this is a workbook through the lens of faith. Because what makes a relationship healthy or unhealthy? So this workbook is designed, it's a 12-week, it's a biblically grounded course, and every week has a few different principles. So if some of our principles, some of our topics that we're covering are respect, cultivating security. And this is not just between a husband and wife. This is between parents, between siblings, between friends, between your bosses, employers. So it's really important, and everyone deserves a healthy relationship.
And also we have The Balanced Life by John Bacon. It covers how to be prosperous in your finances, relationships, your health, your mind, and your spirit. So you can pick that up on Amazon, also on audiobook. And we also have
The Unraveling, a creative healing journal, pinings, poems, prayers, and ponderings of my precarious life. I've had a testimony of, I've had 2 brain tumors and 2 brain surgeries, and I'm super grateful, but I'm still grieving the process of healing. And this is part of the process. In this book, you have devotionals, you have prayers, and you have some ponderings. And in between these pages, there's a space for you to also be prompted to paint and to create your own, or maybe you want to write something in these books. This is part of your creative healing journal that we get to walk through together.
And you guys can just head over to Kingdom Servants First. Kingdom Servants, the number 1 ST.com. And you can purchase all 3 of these books. Thank you for your support, your love, and your contributions. God bless.